Hey people, welcome to the stream. So give me a sec, I will check if I am live or not, then we can start. Okay, I am live. So for the people who are watching this video in the future, the plan is to solve SQL 50 problems, both in case of SQL and in Pandas. So today's problem is problem number 38, exchange seats. Okay, so let's go to the description and then we can go towards our query. So we have the table seat with the column name, ID and student. So ID is the primary key with unique value column for this table. Each of this table indicates the name and the ID of the student. Okay. The ID sequence always starts from 1 and increments continuously. So it's like auto increment. It increases with the digit 1. Okay. So what we need to do, we need to write a solution to swap the seat ID of every two consecutive students if the number of students is odd. Uh, the ID of the last student is not swapped. Okay. Return the result table order by ID in ascending order. The result format is the following example. So if we see, since it is odd 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5, okay, so Doris and Abbott is swapped, Emerson and Green is swapped, and James is as it is. Okay, and we are returning it in ascending order. So note that if the number of student is odd, there is no need to change the seat. Okay, so if we get back towards our query, okay, so let's try to understand or break this query down using our OpenAI. Okay, so break down this query with example and explain. Okay, let's see what it generates. Till then, let's try to understand something. Okay, so select ID. In the sense, we are selecting the ID from this table. Okay, and then we are writing a case. So case when ID mod 2 is equal to 0. So whenever the ID mod 2 is 0, so let's say this is 2 is satisfies that condition, and 4 also satisfies that condition, right? So then what it does, then lag of student over order by ID. Okay, so it creates lag there, else collates lead a student over order by ID student. Okay, so this we will understand by the OpenAI, like what it generates, because I ran it but it's throwing error. So let's see what it generated. Okay, so if you see what it did, case when ID mod 2 is equal to 0, then lag student over by order by ID. For rows where ID is given, the query retrieves the student value of the previous row determined by the order of ID. So what it is doing here is, it is for wherever it is 2 or wherever this condition is satisfied, what it does is it gets one record from above, that is it brings this down here. Okay, that is the first thing. Okay, else coalesce lead student or order by ID student. For rows where ID is odd, the query retrieves the student value of the next row. Okay, so for coalesce it retrieves from the next row. Okay, so for example, for this it gives this basically. Okay, like that, something like that. Okay, of the next row, if the next row does not exist, it is the last row. It defaults to the student value of the current row. Okay, from speed specify from seat. Why am I not able to pronounce it, the words? Okay, let me go slow and steady. From seat, and then specifies the table the query is working with. Okay, now window function, these functions provide access to previous or subsequent rows value without using joins. So if you see this example data, even ID is 2 and 4. So let's say 2 and 4. Okay, so gets the value from the student in the previous row based on ID. So 2 gets Alice and 4 gets Charlie based on that, right? So 2 gets Alice and 4 gets Charlie, if you see, and else, so this gets this row. So in place of Alice we get Bob, in place of Charlie we get Deanna, right? Yeah, like that. So they got shuffled there. Okay, and Edward remains default, because since it is the last row, no subsequent row for that. Okay, so hope this things are clear, right? Yeah. So coalesce function, if you want to understand this, it ensures a fallback value if lead student is null. Example, the last row, it substitutes it with the student itself. So what if the lead is null, then what it does, it substitutes with the student. Okay, if you see whatever things are there, it substitutes with that. Okay, if it is null. So if this is the query, okay, so this is the final breakdown of the query. So let's run this. Okay, so if you see the output, we have expected and output is matching. Okay, so we can submit this. Okay, so let's open the description and let's go to pandas. So in case of pandas, if you see seat.id.apply. So wherever seat is the data frame, okay, so seat.id dot apply lambda of x minus 1 if x mod 2 is equal to 0. Okay, okay, so if you see what it is doing, x in the sense x, wherever there is x, it is doing x of x minus 1. So if it is 2, it is doing 2 minus 1, that is 1. Okay, 0 is equal to 0, else if it is not 0, x plus 1, so it is like 1 plus 2 if it is odd, and it is checking another condition for this, and x not equal to seat dot id dot max, in the sense since it is incrementing, it should not be max. Okay, so this should not be max for previous rows. Okay, else x in the sense if these conditions are even fail, then x we are keeping as it is. Okay, so hope this is clear, loud and crisp and clear. And finally we are returning sorting the values using the id. So if you want this breakdown also, let's ask the gpd here. Okay, so control v not this, let's say explain. Oh, I did a mistake there. So let it generate. So if you see, the apply method applies the given lambda function to each element in the id column of this set C data frame. So if you see x minus 1 if x mod 2 is equal to 0. So if the id is even, so subtract 1 from it. So whatever I said, right? So 2 gets 1 and 4 gets 3. Okay, and x plus 1 if it is odd, and x mod seed dot id dot max. Okay, x mod if it is 1 and not maximum value in the column. So this checks for the max value in the column. Okay, add 1 to it. So 1 gets 2 and 3 gets 4 unless 3 is the max value. Okay, so if neither condition is satisfied, example odd and the max value, keep x unchanged. Okay, so what it becomes is, so 1 gets 2, so 1 gets 2, so if you see 2 is Alice. Okay, 2 is Alice now and 1 is Bob. Okay, so what is happening, if you see, since we are sorting it in the ascending order, finally we are not displacing the student here, we are displacing the IDs. Okay, like that. Got it, right? So hope this is also clear. So let's run this. Sorry people, I'm not able to pronounce properly. So see, that is the reason we need consistency, else things go south. Okay, so hope this is clear. And okay, sorry I buffled, I don't know, uh, it was not smooth. Okay, so I'll try to make it more clearer and more efficient in next problem statement. Okay, so only few problems are remaining, I think 12 to go. So let's solve them quickly and get it over with. Okay, so if you learned something from this video, do like, share and subscribe, and also share this playlist with your friends. Okay, so yeah, meet you in the next problem statement. Till then, take care, bye bye.